I think Europe is all about bringing the economic and the social together. Depending on which group you speak to, of course, people argue more forcefully in one direction or another. But I think the Commission, the European Commission, and at European level we work very hard to get the right balance. And that's why conferences like today are so important, because they allow us to engage in discussion and to compare our analysis and to look for policy responses that everybody can support.
Yes, as a social platform, we're very concerned that there's been a narrow view of the economic issues, which is just concentrating just on growth and jobs, and that this narrow view has been dominant in the last few years. And today's conference is trying to challenge that, saying, look, you have to think about all the things together in this complex world that we have today. You have to think about the questions of growth, employment, questions of social cohesion, all in the same package, and that needs to be at the concern of prime ministers and not just social affairs ministers. It needs to be at the concern of finance ministers as well.
Have a social Europe, which means to incorporate social dimension into all EU policies. That's the most important challenges. That will really, I think, change the reality of European citizens. If the European Union is starting to have social proof EU policies.
We have serious problems from a budgetary point of view. When we're talking about the development of the social policies. But I think it's very important that we emphasize what is, an achievement we have since the 90s. And that the social protection and the social policies are not a cost, are not something like a bandage we put on some broken leg of the economic situation or the economic policy.
Money that we can produce, though indeed greater prosperity does increase the ability of governments to make social expenditures. But in many ways the agenda is to reduce the need for those kind of expenditures, because we've actually provided social protection, improves social inclusion by other means, and that has to be an important part of the equation.
The priority, what we need to talk about, it's about priorities in the European Union. And that's what we asked, and we were waiting very much for the treaty outcome negotiations. We got some new policy priorities mentioned, but not much. And if to look from budgetary point of view, I will say that at all, not much. Again, I can say that the European budget mainly concentrates only to two common European policies, which are enshrined in previous treaty. It's cohesion and common agricultural policy. 80% of the European budget is devoted to it.
You've had 5 of the last 6 spring councils who said we want to have the social more visible in the Lisbon strategy. So 5 governments of the 5 presidencies of the last 6 saying it. You had the Parliament also saying it. And yet every time we come to review the Lisbon strategy, the social becomes less visible in it. And the Economic Committee last week says there's no need for a major reform of the guidelines.
Well, we need to understand that the major challenges for this generation is to be able to continue to work and to contribute to society actively. For the moment, most of the care for the dependent, for example, lays on the shoulders of people, women in particular, aged 45 plus, so-called sandwich generation. And the measures that are implemented are welcome, but they deal with the needs of younger families.
Well, first of all, I think one of the main issues to be done is to create and to issue a specific directive for people with disabilities to prevent discrimination in all areas of life. I mean, so far we have just in employment, and the problem is that if you are not discriminated in employment, but you continue to be discriminated in education, in access to goods and services, in transport, etc., then you cannot be fully included in society.
For me and for us as the social platform, the only rationale is human dignity. And human dignity has for us two components. One of the components is independence and self-determination of people, and the other component of human dignity is participation in society, in shaping policies and in shaping the future. There we must invest in people.
What we have really succeeded in today is to get such a range of different stakeholders together, and I think if you want to debate the future of Europe and the future of social Europe, it's very important to not only discuss that amongst us, but with commissioners who are here, and I'm very happy that they came, with researchers, with people from member states who actually do the policy making, and also from the trade union sector. So what I really find good is that they all came, because in last minute normally you have then commissioners cancelling. So what we really can be proud of is having brought together all these high-level speakers today from different sectors.